Hello, beautiful, and welcome to another episode of Beautiful, I Am Colored. We are now in season 2 of the podcast, and we have morphed into a talk show. Each week, I'll be sharing some insights with you that I've learned throughout my week, and I'll also be interviewing guests from time to time. The interviews will align with the themes highlighted in my book, titled Beautiful, I Am Colored, having to do with spirit, mind, soul, and body. As always, I am honored that you have returned to hear more, and I appreciate your support. For those interested, you can follow me on Instagram at Beautiful I Am Colored, on my website at beautifuliamcolored.com, where you can purchase a copy of my book, the hard copy, this paperback copy, or the ebook version. You'll find links there for purchase. And so without further ado, we're going to dive right on into shout outs and thank yous for this week. Because I'm not going to be here long because I'm about to enjoy my Sunday outside and the long weekend. With that being said, this week's shout out and thank you goes to parents. And this goes to parents no matter what stage of parenting you're at. If you're at the beginning stages where you have little babies and you're changing diapers or potty training, whether it's, the formative, years for kiddos in elementary school, pray for all of you at the middle school level where those hormones are transitioning and you got to deal with attitudes you never seen before because your child is no longer there as they progress down the evolution path of becoming an adult or young adult. And then especially for right now, which is where I am in life or where Marlon and I are in life, parents to the young adults. Young adults, boy, I tell you what, no one really, maybe some of y'all's family prepared y'all for parenting young adults. I'm going to just tell you, I was not prepared for parenting young adults. Here's what I can tell you, that in dealing with one of the kids this week, and I say kids, but young adults, because as you know, our kids range, or for those of you who listen to me, our kids range in age from 27 down to 20, the youngest being 20. And, that has just really cascaded into some very challenging times in terms of how parents should transition, into parenting when you're a young adult. So you are grown in stature, meaning your physical body is grown, but you're not necessarily grown from the standpoint of being completely 100% independent and off of your parents' books. And by that, I mean your parents are no longer supporting you financially. You are fully independent. You're grown in your own right because you can kind of pave your own way. So we're trying to figure that season of life out, which is going to cascade right into the topic for this week, which is gratitude. I am very concerned about the level of young people I see who have an attitude of entitlement, an attitude of you should be doing this for me just because, without any accountability. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, the importance of gratitude, and also how ungratefulness can translate into other negative things coming into your life. Again, it's going to be brief this week just because I'm going to go out and enjoy this beautiful sunny day. But I think it's an important topic and one that I want to share with you. So I'm going to take a quick break and then I'll be right back talking about today's topic, which is gratitude, specifically as it pertains to parents and the raising of children. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, thank you so much for that little break. I am back. And again, we're talking this week about the topic of gratitude in the context of parents raising children. Specifically this week, I'm probably going to focus on the example of adolescents through young adults in that age group, based on some conversations that I've had this week and some experience of my own dealing with one of our own children. But first, I want to ground us. I typically don't go as, academic from that standpoint, is like pulling in references and stuff, because I like to just, as you know, speak authentically and just raw in the moment. But I do think for the purposes and context of this particular topic and subject matter, I am going to really just ground us in some meaning the definitions of a few key words that I'll be using throughout today's recording. And so if you'll just be so patient with me, it will make sense. But I do think it's important that we understand the words that we're saying when we use them. And there's no better way to do that, to me, than using a thesaurus or a dictionary. So the following definitions have been provided by either Merriam-Webster.com or dictionary.com. I'm going to start with the first one, which is grateful. Grateful. To show feeling, or showing an appreciation of kindness. Thankful. In contrast, ungrateful, the prefix un, almost always meaning not, means to not show feeling or showings of appreciation of kindness, being unthankful. The next word is entitlement. By definition, entitlement means believing oneself to be inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. And then finally, today's topic or title definition, gratitude. Gratitude means the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for, and to also return kindness. And please forgive me, I forgot one more key word for today's topic. That word is responsibility. By definition, and I pulled two. Responsibility is the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or of something. It is the opportunity or ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization. And the definition for responsibility, I'm going to focus on the first part, the second definition, but the first part of the second definition, which is the opportunity or ability to act independently and make decisions. So, with that being said, in talking to some other parents, we're all at different stages of life. Some of us have young adults like Marlon and I. Others of us have tweenage or teenagers. And then some of us are just starting off. And then some of us are fully well-seasoned, well into grandparenting and great-grandparents. But for the purposes of my topic for today, I'm going to kind of focus on that teen, tween to young adult stage. And talking to some other parents and talking to Marlon this week too, it has come to my attention that we are in a state of emergency as it pertains to the lack of respect that children are demonstrating towards their parents, and also the high level of entitlement and ungrateful behavior when parents are doing everything within their power to make the life easier for their offspring. That's not to say that parents have all of the answers to the questions, because in fact we do not. However, if you are a young person listening to this, whether it's today, July 3rd, 2022, or it's somewhere in the future and you're listening to this recording, I'm just going to say that you want to be very careful when you operate and project onto your parents the entitlement as if the parents should be doing something for you, especially if you are a young adult. My definition of being grown, and our definition, meaning Marlon and I's definition of being grown, has always been your independence, right? You're responsible for yourself. You're fully and solely, you're out of the house. You're not being subsidized, meaning you're not calling every quarter, every semi-annual, annually asking for money to help you maintain a lifestyle that maybe you can or cannot afford. Now, I'm not saying that parents shouldn't be there for their children to help them in emergency and urgent type of situations. But there is an attitude right now that's so, and really I would say it's beyond attitude. It's almost a spirit that is on the younger generation of an entitlement and disrespect, and I am very, very concerned. Now, some of you who are not parents might say, well, Evelyn, whose fault is that? Because you're the actual parent. And here's what I'll tell you. Thank you so much for your comment, but not all the time does that apply. In talking to so many parents, this is a trend that seems to be going on, and I'm not sure if to attribute it solely to social media, because I definitely know that has played a huge negative role in terms of the false how can I say this, projection of making children believe that things happen instantaneously, when we all know, if you have lived any sort of period of time in your life, we all know that almost nothing happens instantly, right? You see somebody at their finish point or at their blow up point when they've done a lot of things to get to that point, no matter who they are, no matter if they are a recording artist, no matter if they are successful in business, successful speaker, successful teacher, successful anything. I can guarantee you that they have spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of being consistent and disciplined, taking responsibility, learning some lessons, falling but getting back up more times than they can count. And so this attitude and spirit that things should just be given is an emergency from my vantage point as a parent. And what I want to say to parents is this, and I like to speak about my own examples, but as you know, I rarely talk about my children individually because they are learning. And so I don't want to put in the ether, all of the negative things or the challenging things, but I also believe in being fully transparent. So I'll just tell you, one of the children, young adults this week, demonstrated some behavior that they've demonstrated in the past before, when we kind of wouldn't do what they thought we should do or how we should do. And this past week was just kind of, sometimes parents, you got to draw your line. Do you hear me, parents? Do you hear me, parents? You got to stand up, okay? Your children cannot be running your household. Do you understand, parents? Like, you cannot allow your children to dictate how your house is ran, what you're doing. I don't care if you live in a shack. I don't care if you are paying all of the bills. Your children are contributing little to nothing and being able to level up, whether that's playing video games when they want to, watching stream videos and running up your data and stuff like that on your internet bill. I don't really care. And I know I'm talking to a lot of people, if you have ears to hear right now. I'm going to need all the parents to stand up, because if we don't course correct, the future people who will be in business and running things will have a perspective of how can I say this? Of looking out for themselves, which you should do, but without taking into consideration someone else. And so while this title of this particular episode is called Gratitude, I want to stress the importance of talking through about entitlement and how entitlement is a dangerous position to be in. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to put yourself in a position to where you're lower than who you are or who you should be as a human being. That is not what I'm talking about. That is not the context. The context for which I'm talking about being grateful and somewhat humble is that if someone is generous and being kind to you at their level of kindness, then I think that it will behoove the person who is receiving that to be grateful, to be humble, to not be accusatory. If you have some concerns, then you need to be able to learn how to talk in a very respectful manner, even if you disagree, because for those of you who are regular listeners here, you know that I don't have a problem with disagreeing, but I do have a problem with disrespect. And so particularly in the context of the role of parenting, it is up to us parents, I'm talking to myself as well, to enforce, and I do mean enforce, the respect level that you expect in your household. And sometimes that means that you have to draw a line and you have to remain consistent in whatever your decision is in terms of implementing whatever disciplinary action you choose for your family, for your children. I am absolutely not an expert, but I am a mother of young adults who all have the same parents. Marlon and I, as you know, have been married for over 25 years now. And so I'm just saying that you want to get things under control before they get out of control and before you create patterns. I know we joke and, there are skits and sketches that make fun of people at 35 and 40 living in their parents' basements and things. But it's a real thing, and it's a real reason why these things happen. It's not just systematic. I know those things contribute, and sometimes you have to reach out for help. But then there are some other things at play here, too. There are some other things at play. And so I'm encouraging all the parents to take an assessment. You might have everything figured out. And guess what? If you do and you have tips for me, I encourage you to contact me via email at beautiful.iamcolored@gmail.com. I would love to connect with you. I will even set up a meeting to talk to you via video or phone just to talk through this subject matter. But it's high time that parents take a stand and quit being ran out by your own offspring. Okay. That was a little bit, I feel, forceful this week, but it's just where I am. It's just where I am. I think it's a very important topic. I don't think that parents should be ran in the ground. I don't think anybody should be ran in the ground, but definitely not parents, and especially parents who are out here grinding 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week to make it work for your household and sometimes even extended family. To only be met with ungratefulness and an attitude and a spirit of entitlement. With that being said, I think that concludes my topic for the week. Again, I know it was a little bit strong, but it's important to think about. Come on, parents, stand up. Stand up. Okay, I'm actually about to get ready to go outside and have me a good time. So I hope y'all have a good time this week. And I'll be back again next week with another special guest. You can follow me on Instagram, of course. But it's been a week this week. Not bad, but it's definitely been revealing and just, taking a stand as a parent, which is not always easy to do, but it is definitely something that we have to do. Okay, shout out to all the parents. Have a great week. That wraps up the show for this week. Shout out again to all the parents who are doing the very best that they can with what they have. You are not alone. We are all actually facing some of the same or similar questions as we navigate parenting roles, duties, and responsibilities. But as always, I just want to say that I hope you enjoyed this week's show. But more than anything, I pray that you found a sense of hope and healing in hearing my insights and perspectives that I share each week. You can contact me via email at beautiful.iamcolored@gmail.com, visiting my website at beautifuliamcolored.com, where you can also purchase my book, paperback, or the ebook version. And then finally, you can follow me on Instagram, where I post motivational thoughts and messages from time to time under that same handle, Beautiful I Am Colored. I have been your host, Evelyn, and remember, the future you is waiting on you. Until next time, beautiful, have a great week.